Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We have an amazing episode planned for you tonight. We have some spoilers. We got a new leader. We handpicked some of the cards that we wanted to talk about. Again, we're not going over all the cards. We're just handpicking a few that we feel are probably worth having a conversation about. Especially ones that affect the new leader. That's probably some of the major ones. We're going to talk a little bit about control, and we see a rise of control. What does that mean for aggro? What does that mean if you're going to a PQ next weekend? And we're going to talk a little bit about, should you be teching against these specific decks? And if you do, what do you want to tech against? And then lastly, we're going to go over the meta from last weekend as well and talk a little bit about some of the winning decks. There's, again, such a variety of things that we're seeing. Yes, of course, like Han, Kira, Sabine is still up there, but we're seeing some other decks kind of rise out of the ashes, and thought that it would be kind of fun to look through a few of the other ones tonight. With that being said, joining me tonight is Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Didn't play too much this week, unfortunately. So that's going to be interesting. I still need to figure out a deck for the PQ.
I thought you weren't playing in the PQ.
Not this upcoming. Not in less than a week PQ. The one after that, like 2 weeks from now PQ.
The one in Ohio that you're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good. We could talk a little bit
about what I'm doing.
We could talk a little bit about that tonight when we hit our control segment. So, also joining me is JJ. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. Getting ready for a store championship coming up here in a few weeks, and been playing around with the new Gar Saxon deck. That's kind of inspired by the Vader deck that I flew for the last event that we went to. And having some fun with it because it plays very similarly to Vader without deploying constant ties, but it gives a nice buff. So as long as I swap in cards that constantly give me token units and I can buff them with cheap pilots or other effects, then it kind of can be a bit of a strong list. So yeah, it's been nice to test that out.
Awesome. Yeah, this weekend I didn't do a lot. I did not go to the Chicago PQ. I had some medical things come up, and I didn't really want to push the expense. Plus, it was Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. But I didn't really want to push, what if I did go longer on Chicago, and then I'd be driving back super late, and then have to get up early and make breakfast for the wife and stuff like that. So it was just a conscious decision of there's just too many things to travel for right now. And it's exciting, but I just cannot attend everything. I just can't do it. But I did play locally this weekend, and I did not play Kira because everybody told me I should not be playing Kira. So I played some Kaz this weekend. That was pretty fun. Kaz Red. I was a little surprised at how well that deck will do until I had to play against Cad Bane, and then that wasn't any more much fun. So I lost 3 out of the 4 of those matches, but I then also broke out a Piat Red deck. So if you want to go back, when the set first dropped, I did a Piat Red deck tech, and Piat Red has really not done a lot. I've updated that with some other cards that I like, as well as going a little bit more control-y than I had been, instead of just being that mid-range deck that wants to dump out a bunch of units. It's a little bit more on the control side, which is a little bit up more my alley.
Planetary Bombardment and Turbo Laser Salvo.
That's in the sideboard, but yes, I do have both of those now. And the Planetary Bombardment against Cad Bane, I had 3 in hand at one time, so that was super hilarious.
Oh man.
And they did not know that, and I played the Devastator and then played the 1, and they were very sad because I wiped the board, and then they killed my Devastator, and then I had a Ruthless Raider and played the second bombardment and then wiped their board a second time. And then the third round, or the next round after that, it was the same thing. I basically wiped their board a third time, and then I was like, can you deal with this now? Oh, you can't deal with it? Okay. But anyway, I think Piat Red is insanely fun to play. You want to know what Vader hates to play against? Piat Red. So if people are running Vader 4, you can run Piat Red, and they'll cry a little bit because I don't think I don't know how many games. I think I have a 30% win rate against PR red decks with Vader. They could just wipe you. They could just wipe your board or like ramp so hardcore. It's not even funny. But yeah, that's kind of what I played this weekend. I put Trench aside just because people are giving me crap about it. I still am playing Trench online a little bit. I think if I could tweak it enough to make sure it's good enough into aggro, this might be the weekend I could take it to a tournament. But we'll talk a little bit about that later because we have some discussions on control decks kind of coming to the rise.
What you're saying is I need to reformulate this Trench deck real quick?
I'm thinking we need to retool it, yes, and we need to make a video and then not release it until the day after, so that the day of, and then that way people can sit in the PQ and watch the video, and we'll get a ton of views. So,
we do it the day before, and then we tell them everything that beats the deck, but it really just plays into the deck.
Ooh, I like that actually.
It'll be our April Fools.
The
one person who sees that might change their deck because no one cares about teching against a Trench deck.
Nope. I just need to tech against all the other decks. So, but yes, we should talk. We'll talk some Trench. We'll talk some Trench. I'm too excited about Trench to like. I don't know. Like I've been playing Trench Green a little bit. I don't like it as much as the blue deck because it's not my play style. But I had played the Trench Green deck. It's like it's a pseudo Trench blue control-y, but I get to ramp now. So I get to ramp instead of do like hard control.
Yeah, that's a worse CAD deck.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Other than I get to tutor things, I don't know. I like the blue. I feel is just a lot better. We haven't tried red yet. Maybe we should try red. We got to do that.
What do I do in red?
I don't know. Let's figure it out. We'll figure it out. Not tonight, but we'll figure that out. We'll do a red Trench deck. That's deck tech. Come on.
I am happy I finally got my Trench showcase though, so I'm ready to Spider-Man it up.
Yeah, and I think next set, some of the cards we've seen spoiled. I think the next set he just gets better personally, but we'll see once we get all the spoilers.
Yeah, time will tell.
Speaking of spoilers, we have some spoilers for you tonight. Not our personal spoilers, but we have some from other shows and from FFG. So I thought let's talk a little bit about the new leader we haven't covered yet. All right. Welcome to our news and spoilers segment. We've got the leader up on screen already. If you didn't know and you hadn't seen any of the previews, Kanan Jarrus, Tanner's pick here, baby. Right here. I got it right. The right color, everything. I guessed this one. I knew this one was coming. And not only, he is a Force, Jedi, Rebel, and a Spectre. He is like all four wrapped into one, which is crazy. And JJ, I hope you appreciate the art on this one because it's like after he lost his eyesight before
Season 3 Kanan. Yes.
Yep. Like, so this is like, we could at some point get another Kanan, just so you know, like we could get a season 5, like end of life Kanan at some point.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I like this.
The only thing that I'm kind of disappointed is just his attack stat line because honestly, once he went to this version of Kanan, I think he was far more deadly and far more effective as a Jedi. Period, like attack wise. So it's kind of sad to see his. Yeah,
he's just Daredevil. That's what this
basically.
Is.
Stop it! He's not Daredevil. He's
blind and uses some sort of unseen force to help him detect where things are.
Yeah, well,
and he has a stick.
He has a lightsaber stick. This is like, I hope we get another Bendu. All right, we got to keep going because I'm gonna JJ and I could sidetrack into all of the Rebel show.
Did you make that graphic for the Tanner tangent segment?
I have not yet. No, we should. We need the Tanner tangent because that's what happens every time. Like I literally could say we could talk about Kanan, like the Kanan's arc in Rebels. And I apologize, but Kanan's arc in Rebels is one of the best arcs. And if you haven't read the book, JJ, what's the name of his book?
Come on. I don't know off the top of my head.
The Man Without Fear.
It's definitely not that.
The Man Without Fear.
But his book like gives even more background, like how he actually met Hera, and it's amazing. It's like it is up there with the Asajj and Quinlan Voss book, like period. Like it's up there in that realm. I'll look up the name here. But anyway, somebody cover the damn Jedi
JJ,
that got released.
So we got a new blue leader, Kanan Jarrus, with the subtext "Help us survive." He has the ability action spend 1 resource to give a shield token to a creature or specter unit, and he deploys on a 6 cost, which gives him 3 attack and 6 health. And he is shielded, and it reads while you control another creature or specter unit, this unit gets +2/+2. Which is really great. There's actually now a lot of different Spectre units that you can deploy between, of course, Ezra, his ground unit version of himself. You can do Sabine. You can also do Sabine's type masterpiece. You can do the Ghost, and there's just so many options now for Spectre units that you can play with Kanan to give him that ability. That doesn't necessarily have to be in the ground. It can be in space. And Kanan all of a sudden transforms into a 5 attack, 8 health with shield.
With OG Vader stats.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, once you equip him with the myriad of lightsabers that we have now, he becomes even more powerful than before. So he is going to be a beast, constantly giving out shield tokens while he's in the leader form, and then he deploys and becomes the light side version of Vader for for the Rebels. And yeah, he's really good all the way around.
A new released a bunch of like creatures as well with this reveal, so it doesn't have to be like specifically specters, because it's not Hera. You can't just add all. I mean, I guess you could, but you shouldn't add them all in there.
I mean, I would love to see a Rancor deck with him. Like, it would be great.
But then there's not like a lot of like blue specters. I mean, there's one that got revealed, and there's like Hera, but that was like you got the other Kanan. There you go. And well, I guess they have all the ghosts. And
you have all the ghosts.
So never mind. Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of specters in blue now. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for Twin Sons, Kanan and Hera now, I mean, it'll be awesome. You can almost do in a complete deck with like pure specters. Yeah.
So when I go to Las Vegas, that is the deck I'm building, just so you know, for the Twin Sons for side day stuff. That is one, like I will run the hell out of that. I will have every specter I can in that whole deck.
14 cards there, guys.
I don't care. It'll be worth it.
It's Twin Sons. They're limited to 1.
I don't care. It'll be the best ever. I love it. So I like this. I'm not disappointed too much in the stats. I am a little sad that it's only 6 health. But I understand why. Like, they're trying to get you to trigger his ability. And we did a deck tech with like Ray Blue, where we talked about Hondo. Like, Hondo kind of fits into this deck a little bit, with the ability to be able to move shields and stuff like that around. But I don't think it's going to be super hard to control a creature or another specter unit. I think there's enough low cost stuff. Like, and I think you can. What I would probably run this with is yellow right now, because there's more specters I think in yellow than the other colors. But I don't know. We're gonna have to sit down. We're gonna have to sit down and see how many creatures. Because I mean, if you do run red, you get the Nexus guy. What's the Nexus guy's name?
Nexus.
There you go. Like, there's that. There's a couple other red creatures. The Wild Rancor, like, that's super fun to be able to play.
Double red, but it's nice that he's shielded though, because when he flips, he doesn't just get like one shot by Plo Koon.
Yeah,
which is probably why they're like, we should probably throw a shield on this guy. Although, flipping and having another specter unit really causes a lot of chaos, especially because you can kind of protect him with his ability, to give out shields.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see if people are going to go like specter route, creature route, or like a mixture of both. Because you could do a mixture of both. Why not? It'll be fun.
Yeah. I like it. I think this will be something that definitely sees quite a bit of play. We'll have to see and do like a count on specter units and creatures and kind of go from there.
Yeah, just play the new ghost that we have for 5. Give it a shield with Kanan, and then flip Kanan, and now Kanan's a 5/8 shielded sentinel.
Yep. Hope you have Rivals Fall, baby. All right. Let's move on to the next one. We have a couple of new ones. Alex, what one do you want to cover?
I guess I'll just do Anakin, right?
Okay.
So we have Anakin. He is a 6-cost blue. No hero or villainy.
Yes.
He is a 5/7 Force Jedi Republic. He is a legendary. And when played, if there is a hero card in your discard pile, you may give a unit -3/-3 for this phase. Also, when played, if there's a villainy card in your discard pile, you can give a unit -3/-3 for this phase. It's like a little bit of a mini Luke kind of thing, or like a full-on Luke if you have both villainy and hero cards in your discard pile. Probably by playing like Chancellor Palpatine or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, makes sense that he works with Chancellor Palpatine.
The rumor,
but also, I think it's just like pretty versatile. I think they did it because you could play him in villainy and hero decks.
The rumor is we're getting more Mortis characters, and I know Alex doesn't know what the hell that is, but
I have no idea what that is.
That is the rumor is we're getting all of the Mortis characters, and he is the champion of Mortis, right? Like that's his subtext. Like he is the chosen one, and which is weird. That gets a little convoluted in the Clone Wars, but my belief is like we will see something like that, and like I'm kind of excited to be able to include him in like an all blue control deck. like it feels really good to be able to have him in an all control blue deck, but I don't know. I like him, and I
play it in Trench. You'll have Tech as a hero for your discard card.
Oh, I'll find other hero cards. I think that we'll play. That's what we'll do. We'll find other hero cards for this, and then we'll be able to play this Anakin. It's
R2D2 pilot.
There you go, and you just discard him every time. Be like, get rid of him.
I mean, he also would work well in an Ocean-made leader deck that will be coming out, I'm sure.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all, JJ. I'll bet you a showcase. You want to bet a showcase, baby?
I mean, that's an eternal bet, right? Because, as long as they keep on making the decks,
Okay. You ain't getting one this set, so. All right, let's move on.
I mean, the 5/7 stat line for 6 is pretty solid. He does have the Jedi tag, which is pretty rare to have in a villainy deck if you put him in a villainy deck. So that's somewhat relevant, especially if you're running like General's Blade.
No. And we might get some special stuff with Rey and Kylo this set. And if it's like the Destiny stuff, then this character will be broken. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The next one is a constructed lightsaber. It is a neutral card, but it's also legendary. Welcome Death Star plans again. This is attached to a Force unit. So does this mean you cannot attach it to non-Force units?
Correct.
Okay. So this card like immediately just went down in value. And like outside of everything else, like it's great that we're getting more lightsabers, but like I can't give this to freaking Grievous now. Like I wanted more lightsabers for Grievous, and they're not helping me. It does say if it is attached to a hero unit, it gains raid or restore 2. If attached to a villain unit, it gets raid 2. If attached to a non hero or villain, it gains Sentinel. So I do like that we get the 3 different things. And what's the card? What's that stupid? There's a stupid card that basically says if you have the different conditions, like you can do damage based on that or something like that.
There is for each different on attack ability.
Okay, so it's the on attack. Yeah. So never mind.
But also this is a +2/+3 for 3, which is a little bit below the curve, but also it's above the curve because it gives you restore 2, raid 2, or Sentinel.
Yeah. But you can only play it on Jedi, so
or Force unit. There's actually a Jedi keyword, Force unit. That's important.
Yeah. So
can't put it on Huyang, but can put it on Bendu and get Bendu Sentinel again. Don't do that. But it's cool. Like I mean, it's. I think it's pretty solid card in general. 3 costs is a little bit. It's not expensive because you are giving it, +2/+3 and a benefit. It just like seems kind of weird if you're playing like blue. You're gonna have to try to substitute it with Jedi lightsaber, which seems conditionally probably not worth it. But if you don't have a lot of restore, I don't know. But if you're running like a blue hero deck, you probably have a lot of restore. Villainy. You'll probably play a lot more in villainy. Like put that on like a Kylo or something, or the OG set 1 Vader. Can you imagine Vader with a constructed lightsaber? So he's a 7/11 on attack to 2 to a unit, and then also have raid 2. So he's swinging for 9.
Yeah, I don't like that. So, all right. Well, let's go to the next.
Pretty solid for villainy.
It's okay. I will let you have the okay tag. We'll see how well it wills out.
JJ, you got your leader here that you.
Yeah, I know exactly. So I literally like messaged Chris as soon as this was revealed, and I'm like, I knew it. He's coming. He's coming. He's like, relax. It's just a ground card. So, so we got the 5-cost Sifo Diaz with the green resource tag only. So he's not light side or dark side, which is pretty interesting. So he's a 4/4 Force Jedi Republic, and reads: when defeated, search the top 8 cards of your deck for any number of clone units with the combined cost of 4 or less, and discard them. For this phase, you may play those cards from your discard pile for free. I actually think this is a pretty great card to have, especially in an Analyse deck where you can put in a bunch of different clone types in there. And if you're able to put them in cheap, that's a really great way to get coordinate off with a bunch of different clone units out there. I think that this actually could have a lot of uses in a lot of different types of decks. I could actually see this in an Ahsoka deck as well, just having a lot of like great coordinate abilities, like lined up for Ahsoka when she deploys. Yeah, this is definitely going to see some play.
I think this would be really funny in something like a Hunter deck.
Oh, yeah.
Hunter? Or setting up things for Marauder. That's where my head went to. Where I'm just like, just throw a bunch of clones in there and then play Marauder and then ramp off of it. Or, whatever. You can Spark of Hope him and ramp and then also get a couple units out of it.
That's gross. That's so
I'm just thinking of like the weird discard pile synergies.
Yeah. Is it wrong to say that, like, I think this kind of works in Qui-Gon a little bit, like, because Qui-Gon lets you, return, the non-leader unit to somebody's hand and then play something that has a similar power. So like you can have him on the board, right? And you have the ability to dig through your deck with him to have all those clone units. And then you have all these units that you could just like throw to get rid of some of their Sentinel stuff, their lower cost Sentinels.
It's like when defeated is when he gets that ability, though.
Yeah, I mean, you just stick them on there and kill something with it. So
you can put him in a villainy deck and then discard a bunch of clones, and if any of them are upgrades, you play a fine addition off of it.
Fair enough, I guess.
So far, I don't think that works in any scenario I'm thinking of other than Twin Suns, but it's a possibility, damn it. I don't know, it's kind of like a bigger... why am I blanking on his name? Cobb Vanth, yeah. Which is nice. And like, if you ever have clones, like a bunch of one-costing clones, I guess you can dump 4 of them. And then play them out. Like if you have like clone deserters, right?
Deserters. Exactly.
Just, discard all 4 copies of clone deserters because you're cheating. And you have more than 3 in your deck, and then you can play them all.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have our first look at Fallen Order. I think that's the first game, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So first look at a character from Fallen Order. Alex, what is this one?
This one is Marin, I assume. Is a 3-cost, just plain red unit. It's a Force unit and a Knight unit. Nice that we see more of those Knight tags. It's a 2/5 for 3. And then on attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, to deal 2 damage to a unit. And it's uncommon. I mean, I guess if you're playing like Kylo or something.
It's very good with Kylo. My belief is that there's going to be something to do with Cal that will work with her.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
I wonder if we're getting a lot of like discard pile synergy cards in this set.
I love that because
just based off like the last 2, but like also those are like we've had like Migs, right, where it just lets you discard a card and do 2 damage, and like Cobb Vanth was like Sifo Diaz, so it's like it's not necessarily hinting towards that, but that's always a play space. There's a bunch of other, all the other card games, they can interact with their discard piles or whatever for like a second hand kind of thing. So it might be interesting if we're getting that. Or maybe all the Knight units just deal with like discard stuff. Maybe that's like a knight archetype kind of thing. Who knows?
Ooh, I would love that. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Darth Raven's Lightsabers. It's a villain-only 2-cost card attached to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a Sith, it gains grit. It's a 2/2, rare. Whatever. I don't think this is a bad card. I think this is like just it. It's kind of similar to like what we see with Luke's lightsaber, except for this is 1 less attack and 1 more health. It is unique though, so you cannot you can't actually have 2 Darth Raven's lightsabers like it shows on the card, but you can.
I know, right?
You can have it. They should have actually had Darth Raven's lightsaber A and B, and then allowed you to play both.
Dark saber red, Revan's lightsaber red, Revan's lightsaber purple.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But it's I don't know. It's okay. Great. It's cool. It's a nice like 2-cost upgrade if you're gonna play a Sith villain deck. I think you include this.
Yeah, I mean, being a generic villainy, obviously it's meant to play with Revan because that is his lightsabers. But like, there's a bunch of like other Sith out there, right? That just can use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got a bunch of like, Vader or like Palpatine unit like leaders, right? They're Sith. Can you imagine like putting this on Palpatine, like Emperor Palpatine, and just he's a 4/10 plus the 2/2, so he's a 6/12 with grit.
Yeah. Or Asajj. This works super well with Asajj.
Right, but Asajj already has grit though, right?
Well, I don't think she's a Sith though. Anyway, so but being able to add this to her deck and give this to her, I don't think she's a Sith.
Nah, fair.
No, she's a Force Knight user.
Either. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Vader pilot seems actually like kind of funny, or Vader unit or whatever, right? Especially Vader unit, right? You can just ambush in, you do something, now you pump it up +2/+2 and grit. So it kind of it can get pretty scary. Or like the Red Dooku, right? That kills your own units. You can give him +2/+2 and grit and overwhelm. So you can see how that kind of compiles. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. All right, JJ, what's the next one?
All right, so the next one here is going to be Darth Malak, which makes an appearance here. It's a 5-cost villainy only with 4 attack and 7th health, and it has a Force and Sith subtext. And it reads, Overwhelm. When played, if you control a Sith leader unit, you may ready this unit, which is great, right? You play it immediately and be able to attack with it and have Overwhelm. Gives you a chance to put in a pretty big lightsaber on it if you need to, like Darksaber would be really great in Darth Malak. And yeah, swing in, do some major damage onto like some poor soul that is attempting to block them. It'd be great if you can actually put a shield on it as well, just so you can get that free damage through without taking any damage back. But at a 4/7, I mean, this is definitely going to be something you want to consider for like a Maul deck as well, that has Overwhelm, or even something that has like ECL, because this is a great unit to ECL with as well. So
yeah, so I believe so far there's like 7 leaders they revealed that have the Sith trait. It's obviously Darth Revan, the new Darth Maul, this one coming out this set, the yellow Asajj, both Vaders, the Dooku, and Emperor Palpatine. They're all Sith. So I'm sure there'll be more this set. But hey, if you want to slot that in there, a 4/7 Overwhelm might not be too bad in like a Vader or a Palpatine deck. Yeah, especially when you put like Revan's lightsabers on them. That seems really good too.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We have a creature that came out. JJ or Alex?
JJ, how do you pronounce this?
Terran-Tatic.
Okay. We're going to go with Terran-Tatic. So it is a 5/5 for 5, just green creature. And it's while your opponent controls a force unit, this unit gains ambush. So it's a 5/5 for 5 with ambush, conditionally. Which seems okay at best.
Yeah. It's essentially in there for Kanan. There you go. Somebody said, here, let's give you something to play in pre-release with Kanan.
I mean, I'm sure this is really, really strong in like draft and sealed, right? Because opening this set, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of force units, right? That's kind of their whole shtick. So having a 5/5 for 5 ambush isn't super well statted. But that 5 ambush is still a 5 ambush, and that hits. Right, like the Syndicate lackeys, they're 5s and they're a 5/4. So this is 5/5, but they would need a force unit. It seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
The next one we have is Cure Wounds. It's a 1-cost blue event that basically says use the force. If you do, heal 6 damage from a unit. Seems pretty good for 1 cost.
Yep, staple it to redemption, and yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I was about to say, good thing you have some sort of crazy high health unit that had 6 damage on it already.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like outside of a few decks, I don't know if this sees a lot of play, but like I will tell you with certain things, like it's going to be good.
Redemption seems
yeah,
really
like
good.
with redemption, it's going to be good. You know, you're going to be
Wookiees.
Yeah, but Wookiees have great. I don't know if you want to heal your Wookiee or not.
I mean, like you bring Luke. You know, if he's down to 1 health, bring him back up to full.
Yeah.
You can also do the same with the lightsaber and give him a shield, but you know, you can play this.
Or you know, you ambush with Revan and then you just heal the wounds afterwards.
Because this is just a normal blue one, so
yeah, it's okay. I like it. It's whatever. I thought it was cool just because it's like you're gonna heal 6 damage off a unit for 1 cost, which just seems nuts to me.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be more things like Barris, right? Where it's like, hey, when Axe is healed, it does this effect. Maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's always a design space that exists.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. JJ, we got a Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, so we got almost the OG Luke Skywalker. So he's a 4-cost, and he writes his subtext is he what?
It's a hero's
beginning. All right, there we go. It just looked weird with that space in the text. So he's a heroic only unit with 3 attack and 5 health, force and fringe on this one, which is really great. Because I would say at this point he pretty much joined the rebellion, but he's still fringe apparently. So it reads: while you play another unique unit, you may use the force and by spending the force token. If you do, you give an experience token and a shield token to this unit. So that's a really good way to constantly keep buffing this particular Luke Skywalker and constantly have that extra experience and token unit to it. If you manage to get the force consistently, you can actually end up giving Luke several shields and several experience tokens on this. To where he becomes stronger as you play the game more often, kind of like a super Maz Kanata almost, right? As you keep on playing more units, definitely has a lot of great uses on this. I mean, I would love to see this on a Ray deck actually, because you can still buff him with that initial experience and then play another unit and keep on, growing his ability as long as you have that force token to spend. So definitely really interesting. Definitely is going to be really key in a few decks that can really take advantage of constantly gaining more force tokens to make this stronger. So yeah.
It's in kind of an interesting spot. Like, I mean, as long as like you're not really using the force for a lot of really interesting gimmicky things, spending it to buff up to a 4/6 shielded isn't too bad. It just seems a little bit slow, but we'll see. I mean, like playing a bunch of unique units is not hard. So I wonder, hey, you can put this in a hunter deck, right, Tanner? Blue green hunter and have pilot Luke and this Luke and then like the 7-cost Luke.
You can, very much so.
And you play a bunch of uniques in hunter because his ability only works on unique. Look at that. Multiple hunter support this set.
Yeah, maybe Hunter will be good. Maybe Hunter will be good. I don't know. Like, I'm waiting for it, but my guess is it'll be like the set before rotation. He'll we'll be able to take him to a showdown finally, and he'll actually
We did
do
it, guys. Set 6, we finally made a passable Hunter deck.
Speaking of making a passable Hunter deck, we could also maybe make a passable Hera deck at that point by the time we hit set 6 too.
Yeah, I like Hera. She's fine.
All right, what's our next one? It looks like Jabba the Hutt to me.
What?
Yeah.
You don't know that reference, so I don't
get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have the 3-cost Ezra Bridger here, allied with Life, and his code name is Jabba the Hutt. So he's a blue and heroic aspect here with 3 attack and 5 health, and he reads Force, Jedi, Rebel, and Spectre. And he reads, when on attack, you may give an experience token to another creature or Spectre unit, which is really great because he definitely pairs very, very well with the new Kanan leader that we just saw earlier there. And of course, he counts as another Spectre unit, so that definitely helps buff Kanan while he goes out there. Definitely going to see a lot of play even outside of Kanan. Definitely really great in Hera decks, or even as an add-on to Sabine, because Sabine is a Spectre as well. So this is definitely something you can include in your Sabine decks, in those aggro decks, because as he's attacking, he's buffing the other Sabines, making them stronger. So this is definitely a card that we're going to see.
You know, we don't see blue Sabine ever, right?
Occasionally.
I think that we might see it.
I don't
even out of aspect. Sure.
No.
Yeah.
I could play Poe or this. No.
3/5 for 3 though is a really nice stat line.
Yeah,
you don't see that too much.
Is it? Do they just know how to only make good Ezra units? Like, is that what this is? Like, we had a good, like, the set 1 Ezra unit was really good. Like, his ability isn't broken. It's a really nice ability. And then we get this one that just feels like they know how to make Ezra units and nothing else.
I was going to say they know how to make good Spectre units, but I remember Zeb exists. So that's rough.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
And Chopper.
Chopper's good.
Ghost.
Chopper's good. Chopper's fun.
I like this Ezra though.
All right, what's the next one we got?
I am actually just going to skip this. I want to go to the Curious Flock because I love it.
My daughter would love this card for sure.
It's a porg pile. That's what I'm going to call it. I love it. So it's a 1/1 neutral card. Curious Flock. When played, you could pay up to 6 resources. For each resource paid this way, give an experience token to this unit. It's a literal porg pile, and there's 7 of them right there on the card. So you know they're telling you just have a 7 for 7, which is not efficient, but it's cute.
Can I say, like, I feel like the design space should have been pay up to 6 resources. For each resource paid this way, create another Curious Flock unit, and then you would just basically you could have 7 1-cost units that sat on the board. And that would be better. I like that better, actually.
Yeah, I like that better, actually.
They did that with TIE Fighters this set, right? Just make 8 of them. For
well,
8 resources. Yeah.
Not 8.
I am all about the
resources.
porg pile. It's cute. It's silly. I wish it didn't have the cap of 6 resources.
I wish that this interacted more with Chewie, right? Like consume a creature to give an experience token to something.
Hey, there's porg tokens. Maybe a Chewbacca will just have, a pork feast. I don't think this is good, but it's fun. Maybe with a lot more creature support, it'll actually be like pretty solid. Again, I wish it didn't have the cap. I want to spend 13 resources for a 12/12 pork pile. But,
Oh, they could only fit 7 porgs on that image, so that's all you get. All right, we'll do Malakil. I don't know. Malakili. He's the Rancor Keeper for Jabba. He is a 2-cost green 1/4 Underworld unit. The first creature unit you play this phase costs 1 less. If a friendly creature unit would deal damage to a friendly unit, prevent that damage.
That's really good for the Rancors because they all hit.
Yeah.
Their other friendly units.
So obviously that's who it's meant to play with. Maybe my Jabba deck. Maybe, oh man, do I get to have a Jabba deck? I could have porgs in my Jabba deck too. Oh.
Jabba's Rancor would be like a 7 cost, and then, you prevent the 3 damage you do to a friendly unit.
it's a 6 cost because you play it 1 less with Jabba.
That's okay. If you have Malakili out, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's a 6 cost, and then
I fully expect to see this. Yeah, I fully expect to see this in a Kanan deck too, right? But I want this to go along with Purgle. We absolutely need Purgle creatures in this deck now because we got Ezra, we got Kanan, we have to have Purgles for sure.
That's a fair point.
Sentient species of whales.
Yep, space whales.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Where the last one we have is HK47. Alex, this is your favorite.
This is my card. They did it. They made me a card. I played KOTOR, so I actually know who this is. I'm so happy. He's my favorite character. They have HK47 with the most perfect subtitle of exclamation die meat bag, which is perfect. Because that's how he just speaks in the game. He's just like, this is my intent, and then he says his line. It's brilliant. He's a 2/4 for 2 villainy red card. He's a Sith and a droid, so you could put their lightsabers on him and give him grit if you really wanted to.
It's so great.
And then when an enemy unit is defeated, you deal 1 damage to the controller's base, and he's legendary. But I don't care. I think he's okay. The 2/4 stat line is more appealing than anything else, really. And the Sith might come up. But also, like, if you manage to, I don't know, if you manage to defeat a large number of their units, it's nice. Not sure how you're going to do that. I mean, you can do
super
things
laser
like
blast.
Yeah.
Well, the super laser blast for it.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
So I do have a question on it, right? So let's say, like a super laser blast or like a grenade strike, right? You eliminate like more than 1 unit in a 1 shot. So this would trigger twice in the same round.
It's every time an enemy unit is defeated.
Ooh, that's nice.
Put a fallen lightsaber on something, ping 3 1/1s, deal 3 damage to them.
Yeah.
I like it more because it's HK47, and that's the only character I actually interacted with in KOTOR, and also the only thing I remember from KOTOR. But I don't think it's too bad.
It's okay. It's a nice 2/2 or 2/4. So
it's the best subtitle in SWU.
Yeah,
I will make that claim.
Fair enough. Well, all right, that ends our spoilers. Hopefully you got out of that what you came for. I was excited by some of the spoilers this week. I'm happy that Kanan Jarrus was here because I think that gives me... I think I'm in the lead now. Is that I don't know. I gotta...
I remember saying, damn, Kanan was my pick. I guess I'm going to choose someone else.
And I told you to pick it, and you still didn't, and that's on you, baby.
I'm sorry, I went with like Luke.
Yeah. You guys have Obies. Well, JJ's in the lead right now.
Well, JJ somehow called third sister, whatever, right?
Yeah. The one off the wall thing he'll get. The set. So, anyway, that is our spoiler segment. Now we're going to get into talking a little bit about tournament analysis. But before we get into some of the analysis, what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about control decks, because we've had a rise in control decks. We've even had some mid-range decks go a little bit more control-y, it feels like, over the recent couple of tournament weekends. So it's something that is on the rise. And I think as we talk about, like, how do we prep and go to, for the next tournaments, we have another set of PQs, and we are seeing a lot more Data Vault. We're seeing a lot more Han 2s. We're seeing a lot more Kiras. We're seeing some Palpatines even come up a little bit more. Vader seems to even be, like, Vader 1 seems to be kind of on the rise. And then obviously there's Bosk Blue and Cad Bane's, right? And so, like, this weekend, Cad Bane Blue came in second in the tournament. And I thought, well, we're having a rise of control, so that benefits me as a Palpatine player. Like, I feel like swerving to Palpatine again for this PQ, just for the pure fact that, like, if that's what everybody's going to be running is, like, control type stuff, then I would rather have, like, a Palpatine deck, because it just feels like it just does better. But at the other side of things, if we're having all of this control, does that mean aggro is going to shift their, like, what they're doing? Alex, what do you think? I guess let's get into, like, let's talk a little bit about the control piece rising, and what do we think that is something, like, do we think that's going to be a continued piece in the meta?
Well, as like metas happen, usually it starts out aggro and then eventually goes into control, because control now figure out exactly what's popping up in the meta, so you got more more idea of what you're supposed to be controlling and what you're trying to go against. So that makes sense. I think the trend, usually holds pretty steady, although this might be a little bit earlier than we usually see. But I'm not sure if, like, just because they're playing Data Vault, it means they're playing Control. Right? Like the, Sabine Data Vault one last week.
Sure.
But, the higher health bases tend to, the longer games lean more into Control because they're better late game than they are earlier game. I play, too much Control. It's always very fun for one of us. And, we'll still see. It's so hard to tell right now with this meta because there really isn't one. Although, like Kira Data Vault is on the rise, and that leans more control-y. But even then, that's still like just a really good end game, like mid-range deck. I mean, you play it far more than I do, Tanner. So am I like off in that, or is it like,
I don't
lean towards soft control?
It leans towards soft control. 90%.
I know yours does. Does the typical ones do?
Yes.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I just figure with the extra 10 cards, it might lean a little bit more mid-rangey.
Yeah, no, the original, actually, the very first iteration of Kira Data Vault leaned like hard control, like our Trench deck was. And then I was able to beat it with Trench, and it was just like, well, I'd rather just play Trench then, and like it just seemed smarter. Like, I mean, they do get relentless, so it can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but outside of that, like, they didn't have, like, their Pelps returns and their salvages just didn't do a whole lot when it came to some of that stuff. You just start milling it fast enough that they can't do anything.
Sure.
But traditionally, Kira will lean soft control almost all the time. Very rarely do we see her in a mid-range shell. You're better off playing Thrawn if you want a mid-range shell, blue-green. Or even, like, Krennic is probably a better, what I would consider closer to a mid-range deck than Kira would be.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. What's your guys' opinions? Like, I just think it's so weird in this meta that I can't really call too much. Like, what?
So for me, just based on my experience, right, from the last big event that we had there, right, I think mid range just has more of an answer on theirs. And in order for you to really build up to what is going to be big swings into your opponent, having a lot of control pieces in that mid-range deck helps you control the game in your favor, controls your opponent's tempo, and just give you that path to your win condition on there. So if your opponent ends up, ramping up faster than you can, just having those control pieces on there to help negate your opponent's tempo once they start deploying those larger pieces kind of helps you just set that win condition. So the popularity and the accessibility of those cards is a lot more common now than what we had previously before we had the last two sets. Whereas, before then you didn't have really great control pieces available to you. And we saw a lot more success with aggro that really didn't have really the well-defined answers to slow down the tempo for more aggro decks that we see now. So because of the availability now of more reliable control pieces comboed with mid-range, it makes it easier for people to combine into what you need, especially since we're seeing a lot more diversity in the meta, and it helps you kind of deal with things across the board overall.
Yeah. And so while I agree with you in the aspect that we're moving, like, that not all data vaults are control decks. I do feel that we're seeing a shift in like how Han is played a little bit closer to not as mid-rangey as it used to be. It used to be a very strict mid-range type deck, and I don't see us moving in that direction. And like the Ray Data Vault, like that should just be a mid-range deck, but they have enough tools where they don't need that. And as you can see from the graphic, like Kira's on the rise, right? Sabine is still up there, but Kira took Sabine's place as one of the number one winners of PQs. Now, I will say, to me, the larger events are a better indicator of what's good into the meta. I think that these smaller PQs are outliers somewhat. Like we're seeing PQs with 50 or less people in them. And while that's fine, you can have that, but this is not as good of an indicator. Like Chicago, we're going to cover Chicago later. That's a great indicator because that's 118 people. It's, over the 100-person threshold. It's got enough variety where you're going to get your 7 rounds in plus your top cut stuff. And I don't know. So like, I think that's the thing is like, if you build a deck that you're taking to a PQ that's smaller, you could probably get away with some of this control and being more of a control player. But if we're going to larger events that are over 100 or 150, right? Like you have to be able to plan for a little bit more. And that's where that's why I wanted to have the conversation, because like I would like to just play control all the time. And like if control is going to be a big thing, then why not just play Palpatine or Trench, right? Like let's just play hard control and win. Like if the majority of the decks you're going to see are like mid-range and control, why not just play the best control decks you can? And like it's not Kira. That's not the best control deck. The best control deck is Palpatine. What beats Rey? Palpatine, hands down. like funny enough, Palpatine trounces Kira, or at least in my experience so far it has. I don't know. The other like top 8, if you look at it, Sabine is still up there, and Quinlan, but there's a pretty big disparity. All of a sudden people are jumping on this Kira train, right? And in top 8s, you'll notice that 34 out of 35 Kiras are running Data Vault. Which is just crazy that like people just swung so far to that. And if you check out our segment from last week, we actually talk about Data Vault and the math behind it and why we probably should have been on Data Vault a little bit sooner than what we were, based on what we're seeing. I like seeing this Vader up here. Look at that, baby. That's an aggro deck, or a tempo deck. I guess I should say it's a tempo deck. That's what it truly is. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Like, is it like if you're going to it? So there we go. If you're going to a PQ next weekend, like, what are you taking? We'll start with JJ. JJ, what are you taking if we're going to a PQ? Based on what we're seeing in the meta and stuff like that, what is your take? What would you be taking?
For me, I still would run the JTL Vader, honestly, mainly because when you're looking at the most common control pieces there, they're targeting like 1 unit or more, or actually 1 unit on average for everything up to like Super Laser Blast, right? And if my opponent is really spending those resources to just take out one of my units and leaving out all my other, like spread out my power among smaller pieces, then I'm able to get damage into those bases a lot quicker than my opponent can take out my units. Especially if I'm doing like a heavy space presence. So for me, I would kind of still lean on that and just hope to outpace my opponent's damages from it. Gets a little more harder when you have stuff like top target and stuff that can help heal the base and kind of help delay the game until they get to their win condition. But I can still put the pressure on them for it. So as long as I can outpace my opponent and kind of spread out my forces, so that way I'm not relying on a single big attack from 1 unit, then I think I have a decent chance against that.
All right, Alex, I'm going to ask you. You have to come up with an answer, baby. You don't get a choice.
A nice thing about helping run a PQ is that I don't have to play in the PQ. I don't know.
Judge?
I have not. Yeah, I have not decided on things. It would, if I were to sit down and like grind out a game, I think aggro is still a little bit too prevalent, at least in Michigan, between like Sabine, and like Kaz, I see a lot at locals, Vaders, even a little bit of Boba. That leans a little bit aggro-y sometimes. I think I respect that too much to go like trench heart control, right? I don't know. I'd have to maybe build up a red Palpatine deck, or I've been like messing around with either ECL Red Han or Data Vault Red Han, or my Ray deck, which really overperforms into the field. So maybe it's just like, I don't know, I bring Colossus Ray deck just to mess with people or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to build something. I'm the kind of person that just like builds something. Or the Lake Country Han deck. That's really fun too. I might try that out.
Fair enough. For me, if I was taking something for a PQ, I would probably lean back into the Vaders. I was a little worried Vader was something that was not going to be a thing, and like because people would tech so hard against it, and people don't seem to be teching against it. We also have a little bit of an evolution in the Vader to get rid of some of the stuff that people know. So they're now adding Bazine's a new thing that's in there, and like I've always been running AT8 hauler, but now other people are as well. And Lurking TIE Phantoms just seem to be like, I had pulled those out originally, and every game I played at Richmond, I sided those in. So like it just feels like those just are main deck cards. But I think there's a little bit more to the Vader nowadays than before. And like if I'm taking an aggro deck, I'm taking Vader. If I want a mid-range deck, I'm going Han though. I think like Han has a better play into Ray.
Which Han?
The
there's
Han 1. There you go. Sorry.
Okay.
Han 1 is probably my pick if I was wanting to go mid-rangey, and I would play mostly a strict mid-range deck with maybe not a casino Han style, but like closer to that type of a thing. And who knows, whatever, I could choose Data Vault. I don't know if like that's a whole different conversation, but I would be going with Han 1, and then for control it's probably going to be Kira. But that's my bread and butter. I played Kira since set 2. So Kira's always been a big thing for me personally.
No love for Palpatine.
Yeah, the problem I have with Palp is if there's too much Kaz and Vader and Sabine, Palpatine just... I just don't know if I could. I don't know if we're like your prediction is that we're gonna, especially Michigan, we're gonna see a little bit more aggro than we normally would. I did top 8 a PQ with Palp, and I could probably do it again if I can avoid a lot of the Sabines. But if I have to avoid Sabine and Vader now, that's probably like now that's going to be pushing a little bit more. And if I have to now avoid a third deck, Palpatine, Vader, and Kaz, like I don't know, or I'm sorry, not Palpatine, Sabine, Vader, and Kaz. I just don't know if like a Palp deck is going to be able to do some of that. But I have not messed around with Palp right at all. I'll be perfectly frank and say I haven't. So anyway, that's kind of our thoughts on the meta. Like should you be running a control deck? Like what are you going to do against a control deck? And I think that's kind of like the big thing is like if you don't want to get into the meta, you have to be able to counter. Like at minimum the Kiras of the world. Like that's a deck that's rising to popularity, and I don't know. Like it's funny because I feel comfortable playing Kira into a Kira meta personally. Like I could play a Kira mirror match and do decently well, but not everybody else can. Kira is not the easiest to play. So with that being said, why don't we get into and actually talk about some of the tournament results from May 10th weekend. All right. The first PQ we have is from Spain. We see a Han Yellow coming back, baby. This is a Han Yellow. It's mainly kind of what we had been seeing, but look, they've got Radiance, Alex.
I love the Radiance.
Main deck Radiance, baby. Like,
and they got the stolen AT haulers for you.
Yep, they do. Which is great because you don't need to just run that in Kaz. That's a great card to have in. You can play that turn 1, by the way, with Han. So
yeah.
And you know what? What most people can't kill if you're not a control deck? A 4/5 unit. So I don't know. Alex, why don't you cover this deck? I like this. Actually, I like this deck. This is not a consideration for the guy that doesn't know how to run Yellow Han, but this is a really fun deck, and I probably would play this at minimal at locals.
Yeah, so we got Han Yellow. It is triple Hotshot Blaster, triple L3, double a New Adventure main decking. That's pretty interesting. You don't see that too frequently. A single copy of Spark of Rebellion, double Surprise Strike, triple Bodhi, triple Liberated Slaves, triple the 3-cost Millennium Falcon, yellow one, triple the Stolen AT Hauler, triple Tech, double Waylay, double Ahsoka, the 4-cost, triple Cunning, double Cantina Bouncer, triple Han Pilot, triple Mandalorian Pilot, triple the 6-cost Falcon, double 7-cost Han, double Radiant 7, double Tantive 4. In the side, you have triple Bamboozle, the second and third copy of Spark the Rebellion, a single copy of the Shadowed Hover Tank for Sabine, a third Cantina Bouncer, a third 7-cost Han, and double Tranquility. I know, Tanner, you and I were talking off podcast about the Tranquility loop, and thankfully people aren't running that, and this guy is, so that's not good.
Nope, it's not.
But also, I believe they have other... the Radiant is also a Republic ship, so you can actually cycle the Radiant back as well. You don't have to continuously just loop the Tranquilities.
Yeah. Because the Tantive 4 is a Rebel ship, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's what I thought.
First scene of Star Wars, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I like this deck. Like as a Han Yellow deck, this is definitely a little bit different than what we've seen, and I like that they use Mos Eisley base. There you go. So
It's real pretty.
Yeah. No need to have a chopper base. Let's just use this one. So I don't know. I like this. I think this is kind of cool. If I knew how to play Han better, I don't know. Maybe I'll just play Han Yellow. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it anyway.
I still question the need for triple tech. I feel like you can get away with 2 and then swap in maybe like a second spark just to make that a little bit more consistent. Put the third tech in the sideboard. I don't know. I just don't see why you need 3. I know you burn through your hand pretty quick being Han, so it's nice to play out of your resource pile. But that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was a larger one too. I tried to choose PQs that were over 60. That was my goal. I think we were covering one that's under 60. That was like a 58 or something like that. But for the most part, I've been trying to choose larger ones because it feels like it'll flesh it out better. I agree though. Yeah, I don't know why you would need the 3 texts.
Someone tell me why I'm wrong. I just feel like 2 is probably sufficient, and the third one in the sideboard.
Yeah. I mean, and I do like the Mandalorian include. I think that's kind of cool because in this deck, you have the option to play it wherever the hell you want. You don't have to worry about it.
Unit 2, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
Just 5/6 for 5, exhaust 2 when played is so good, and it doesn't limit you in any way, so you can exhaust your leaders. It's really good into the mirror match for Han. I like the Mandalorian a lot. He does so much work in my Akbar deck.
Yeah. All right, the runner-up. Oh, look at that! It was a Vader deck. Oh my gosh, I did not know this was coming. This is another iteration. This is wild. They got Maul in here. I don't main deck Maul. I don't know why.
I to get their side deck.
Yeah. I don't know. So this is a Vader JTL leader. Yellow deck using the wrong base. They should not be using Jabba's Palace.
That seems thematic.
No, don't use Jabba's Palace. He's got 3 of the
313, right?
3 of the First Order ties, 3 Republic Y-Wings, 3 tie LNs, 2 Confiscate, 2 Swoop Down. Swoop Downs instead, they have Swoop Downs instead of Surprise Strikes. I don't know. Or even Breaking Ins. Whatever. And then they have 3 of the Cartel Spacers. They have only 2 Victor 2s, which just seems criminal to me. 2 No Good to Be Deads on top of that. 2 of the Death Skirmishers, 2 Eager Escorts, 3 of the Elite P38s, which I don't understand what that does in this deck, but I guess it's a 3/2 body that can ping 1 damage to something. I don't know. 3 Lurking Ties, 3 of the Shankshiren Shuttles, 3 7 Fleets, 3 Victor Leaders, 3 Waylay, 3 Clones, 2 Geonosins, 3 Overwhelms, and then 2 Maul. And the side, they have 2 Choose Sides, 2 Bazines, 1 more No Good to Be Dead. There's the Surprise Strikes, 2 more of those, 1 more of the Death Skirmishers, and 2 Chewbacca's, because why not, I guess? Because you can play it for 4 cost and you can't remove it. So
it's 5 cost. 5 cost, but you put it on the Clone Squadron, that becomes really annoying, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the Chewbacca's are, that's nuts to me. I would never do that. Like, that's just crazy to me. That seems like a very unvalue centric town. But I would also not be running main deck Mauls either. But
yeah, this seems a lot more like geared towards mid range.
Yeah,
like later game than yours. It doesn't spam a whole bunch of units out and then tries to win that way. It seems more like we're gonna try to value things. Although I'm really concerned about the triple Lurking Tie fandom's main deck. Seems a little excessive.
in test,
I mean, you can put Vader on it; it's great, but
yeah, in testing, it's really bad against blue. But outside of that, like it does decently. Though people are running Traitorous now, so it's kind of a pain in the butt with that.
maybe it's because I play a fair amount of blue, and I'm just like, oh no, Lurking Tie, I don't care.
Yeah,
Carlos position.
Yeah, it's nice. The 4 reach is kind of really more what it's there for.
I mean, it does one shot like a Concord Dawn Interceptor, which is nice.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. This deck's wild. I don't like this deck. I mean, the Eager Escorts are fine. Like, I understand those. I would not be running P38s or Swoop Downs. Like, it's just not
the
me.
main deck double confiscate.
Yeah, or double
Is that
confiscate.
like super weird, or
no, it's not anymore. Now it's like it's to confront the Sabines that can outplay you a little bit. So like if they ambush in and do like 3 damage to something with their Sabine's tie because they ECL'd it in, and they give themselves the upgrade, like the extra thing, you can then just strip that off there and then it dies. I don't personally. It's not for me either. Like, that's not. I don't like it. I would put them in sideboard at most. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. This deck is definitely different. So, like, I don't understand only running 2 Victor 2s. Like, that seems nuts as well to me. Like, that just seems like a simple staple to have as a 3 of, because you can put that on the ground turn 1 too against Hans.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right, let's move on to our France PQ. JJ, we have a Poe data vault. Everybody's running data vault, baby. We have a Poe data vault taking first place. Let's go through this deck.
Yeah, so Poe Data Vault coming in with 2 copies of BB-8, 2 R2D2s, 3 copies of Heroic Sacrifice, and They Hate That Ship. We got 3 Timely Interventions and Black Ones. 3 copies of the Green Squadron A-Wings and Luke Skywalker Pilots. We got 3 Phoenix Squadrons and Sabine Wrens. 3 copies of Eject. 3, yeah, and which is wild, actually. 3 Blue Leaders. We got 3 Cassian Andors, 3 Millennium Falcons, 3 For a Cause I Believe In, 3 Bright Hopes, 3 Dark Sabers in this list too, which is crazy considering what Sabine, the only person
put that on Poe.
And Chewie. Yeah, that's true.
You put on
and then
Chewie.
Yeah, that's true. So we got 3 copies of Chewbacca and Poe Dameron, 3 Wreckers, and 2 Radishes. And then in the sideboard here, 3 Mandalorian Fanfighters, 3 Sindari Peacekeepers, which also is another target there for that Darksaber, 3 Champs and Doulas, and 1 additional Radish on there. So many choices for Poe Dameron to just hop around on. You have a very solid Space Force here, and you also have some decent pilots between BB-8 and R2-D2 that can just jump on one of these ships and just do what they need to do on there. And then you got some solid ground units here between Sabine being that early threat, and then Chewbacca later on in the game as well, being that unit up there, as well as Wrecker and Poe just being able to help the elite ground forces completely there. Definitely really, really strong deck, actually. I like this deck. I would actually like to run it on here for sure.
What's the they hate this ship really there for? Is it just there for the Radishes?
Yeah.
Or the Bright Hopes?
That's my kind of only idea.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I'm not 100% exactly sure why they need the triple. They hate that ship, unless they're just like, yeah, this is my Kaz deck, but I'm going to play Poe instead, and they didn't swap out a couple cards. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I don't understand that, and I also am not super sold on that eject anymore. Yeah. Like, I think it's okay, right? It's just, and I guess if you got 60 cards and you have that spots for it, but it just feels like there's no Sentinels. Like, outside of the Bright Hope, like, where's my ground? You don't even have, like, those could just be ground Sentinels pretty easily.
Yeah, echo-based defenders or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, eject works with Poe, right? So you can just pay one, throw him on a ship, and then eject him off, and that was a 4/6 ground unit, which I get. That was, people were trying to test that before the set came out. I'm just not. I mean, it does work against other pilots, right? Like, pop Vader out of a ship, I guess. Sure.
It's just an exhaust. You pop Vader out of his ship, he's just going to claim and swing in next turn. So
yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, you saved yourself 5 damage for one turn, but then you lost the initiative. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I am a fan of the Darksaber in this deck because I am a fan of just like, oh wait, what do you mean your leader's now like an 8/9 that I can't really deal with? Yeah. I use it a lot in the Moff Gideon deck I ran, and that had no Mandalorians. This one actually has Mandalorians in it. Granted, it's like Sabine and like the disabling fangs in the side, but and the Sindaris. So you're not really using it for that. It's more of like, I have Chewbacca here now. He's a 9/9 who can't be like immediately killed, right, with rivals or like bounce to hand, so you can't do anything about it.
Yep, it's disgusting.
I like it.
Yeah, I actually, if I were to run a Data Vault like aggro style deck, I like this better than I like Sabine. Personally, I actually think, like, overall, if we're gonna run Data Vault, I think Poe Data Vault is better because this has the similar shell, but you get the resistance piece added to it, and you get the black ones. I'm a little disappointed they don't have the 6 cost black one in here, just for theme. But that's fine. I understand why. It's not a very good. It's not. I know it's not a very good card, but still, it would be very on theme.
I'd probably take out like the triple. They hate that ship. Triple eject and probably triple heroic sacrifice. Actually, just like main deck the Sindaris and throw in like echo-based defenders and probably another really low drop somewhere. I'm like, I understand the heroic sacrifice. I don't hate it. So maybe I don't cut it for something.
Yeah, or maybe like there's no trench runs in here either. Like trench run is actually a decent, like, and this deck could be a decent one.
Actually, what you do is you put in Steelas, right? Because
you could put Steelas in. Yep.
Because timelies are tactics, heroic sacrifices are tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. If those are your only tactics, never mind.
But yes, I would dump. I like the heroic sacrifice. I think those are fine. I would put echo-based defenders in here instantaneously, and I would get rid of they hate that ship. And like, oh, there you put battlefield Marines in for all I give a crap, or you could put like you could put the Sindaris. Those are probably better main deck. You could I think you almost want a main deck Fang Fighters, right? Like I almost think that Fang Fighters would be a good main deck. Maybe not 3 of them, but just so that you have that ability to get rid of rival Chewbaccas. Because you don't have a way of dealing with those. So you're a little out of luck. If they escort themselves up, you're kind of screwed. So I think I think that's probably the move. I would move 3 of those Fang Fighters main deck and then put 3 Echo Base Defenders main deck. That's probably what I would do.
For the Jackson, for the they hate
They
that
hate
ship.
them ships, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what I put in sideboard though now. Right? Like now I don't know, like now I'd have to go back and actually look at what I want for a real sideboard.
Great dragons.
That's
Home
actually,
ones.
Home ones would be good. I mean, you could also put in the U-Wings, right? U-Wings are probably pretty good in this deck too, because you have blue leaders and Cassians and Chewbacca's that well, you can't play Chewbacca, so it's not Chewbacca's. But Bright Hopes, and that lets you pull a Bright Hope.
Chewbacca's a unit, which isn't bad when he got Darksabers.
So I don't know. I think I would probably put the U-Wing reinforcements. That's probably what I put in.
I'm a fan of the Sundari's main deck just because you don't really get Restore in green red hero.
True.
So it's just nice. I mean, you got 33 health with that Evolved, sure, but like it's just nice to catch up a little bit.
All right. So we're saying 2 Fang Fighters main deck, 2 Sundari Peacekeepers main deck. All right. We still got 2 more cards that we could put in there. What did I say were the other ones I wanted to put in there?
You want the Echo Base Defenders there.
And I want
a 51 card deck.
Yep,
There you go.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
61 card deck. Yep.
Sure.
Yep, that's Tanner's deck right there. Actually,
I was told that it's not a real Data Vault deck unless it's 62 cards. So there's always that.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next one. It was a Data Vault off in this France matchup. This is the Anakin Data Vault, which I don't think we've seen this.
Data
right?
Vault off.
Yeah, we haven't seen this one, right? This is definitely a new. This is a newer deck. It's got some crazy stuff in this deck.
I like it. Yeah, so Anakin Data Vault. We'll see if one of my locals swears to this now. Triple R2D2, not the pilot, just the normal set 1 R2D2. Triple Daring Raid, triple Dogfight. I love Dogfight, by the way. 1 copy of Timely Intervention, 1 copy of Anakin's Interceptor, triple C3PO, triple Phoenix Squad A-Wing, triple Sabine, triple Shootdown, triple Spark of Hope, triple Blue Leader, triple Cassian, double Echo Base Defender, triple Huyang, triple Sundari Peacekeeper, double Strike 2, triple General's Blade, triple Bright Hope, triple K2, triple Stela, double Bravado, 1 Saw Gerrera, triple Wrecker, and in the side you got double Disabling Fang Fighter, double Tech, triple Cham, 1 Bombing Run, and everyone's favorite card, double Rule with Respect. The 4 cost a friendly unit can capture every enemy unit that attacked this phase. The legendary from set 2.
Yeah, I got 7 of them. So if anybody wants to buy some,
High commodity right now.
This is. I don't like this deck. This is weird to me. I don't like. Maybe it's the one-offs that I don't like because it's just not my.
I don't
thing.
like the one-off Timely. I figure you might as well run 3, especially because you have Stela Gerrera, right? Because Stela, you can pull Dogfights, Daring Raids, Timely, Shootdowns, and Strike Trues. So you might as well go get the other 2 Timelies. What are you doing? The General's Blade is also a little bit weird to me. I get that it's like a static +3/+3. With Huyang, you get it for cheaper, and you can put on Anakin, which is really nice. But that's about it. So it's a little bit weird to me. But otherwise, I don't hate this. The triple Spark of Hope's a little bit weird. But you do trade your units with Anakin, right? To just trade up. So that's always a consideration.
Sure, I understand the logic in that. I think the problem I have with it is what are you ramping into? An early Anakin flip that it feels bad because you're not actually ramping into anything real, right? Wrecker's your top end. Yeah. So your goal. This is obviously a low end mid range deck where your goal is that Anakin just come out and and
they don't have anything to deal with Anakin.
Yeah, and I just
Right.
I don't agree personally, but that's just me. You know, I also
Anakin
didn't come in
with
second.
the General's Blade and Bravado is pretty nasty.
True.
Which is pretty cool. You know, you can get a 4 cost reduction if you need be. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's kind of close to the Data Vault deck I'm running with Han with Steela's, but also those, there's a reason why they're a lot different. So it's okay. It's fine. I mean, they got second at a big PQ, right? So it's farther than I ever got. So they're probably doing something right.
Yeah.
What I like, which I'm not sure how intuitive this is, but playing a Wrecker, blowing up a resource, and then next turn playing Cham is always a really cool line because you just kind of catch back up. Usually you'll see like Cham's, like, I don't know why they're not main decking the Cham, right?
Yeah.
You get that niche interaction with Wrecker, you get, if they're ramping, that's cool, but like with Anakin's ability, that swings for 7. That's so big.
Yeah.
On turn 4, you'd play it. So next turn, if they flip like Quinlan or something, you can just auto kill it.
It's because they have Spark of Hopes. That's why they don't have Cham there. You dump Spark of Hopes, you could put Cham in there easily.
Look at that. Spark of Hope, you can't even pull off Steela because it's an 8. All the other ones, well, I guess Bravado's also an 8, but like all the other ones are tactics and stuff. I like Dogfight so much. Throw in some reinforcement walkers and put a Dogfight in there. It's hilarious. Because you can like timely out. Like if you're at 10 resources, which whatever, sometimes it happens. You can timely out a reinforcement walker and then heal 6 and then Dogfight and heal another 3. I've done that. Or draw 3, depending on whatever health you have. Any combo of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems kind of weird that it's so low to the ground.
Yeah. I don't understand it, and that's probably because I don't play Anakin. So we'll just blame it on that and move on. The next one we have is the Yeti Gaming in St. Louis. I don't have decks for this. I wanted decks for this. They had a guard data vault. There you go. Like everybody's running data vault. They had a guard data vault take this down. They did not have the decks listed in the PQ thing, which I think is actually a
really cool
violation. And then they had Rey and Kira and Quinlan Blue, which I wanted to see the Quinlan Blue list because that was like on my list of things I wanted to play last set. In this set, and I have not put one together, I guess. So if Raven Fox, if you're listening, or if anybody knows how to get a hold of this Quinlan Voss blue deck, hit us up. Like I would love to go through that deck. All right, the next one we have is Pastimes in Chicago. This was the PQ I did not go to. This was taken down by a Han 30 green, not a data vault. JJ, what is this Han Green deck?
Yeah, so definitely a really interesting setup here for a Maz Kanata Han Solo. So we got 1 copy, just 1 of Confiscate, because that's all you need. 3 copies of the Hotshot Blaster, 3 L337s, 1 Luke Skywalker. I tell you, it's like I made this deck. 2 Phoenix Squadron decks, or A-Wings, 3 Surprise Strikes, 2 copies of Blue Leader, 3 of the Millennium Falcons, both 3 cost versions, 3 AT Haulers, 3 Techs, 3 Resupplies, 3 Waylays, 2 Poe Damerons and Kiras, 2 Chewies, 3 copies of Han Solo Pilots, another 2 copies of the other Millennium Falcon that we have here. We have 2 copies of Han Solo, 1 10T4, and 3 copies of U-Wing reinforcements. And then the sideboard, we got 2 copies of Confiscate, Traitorous, Home One, Spark of Rebellion, and it looks like Salvage. That's the last one there. Definitely really interesting. Just being able to have, obviously, all those Millennium Falcons are just so good with Han. You have a pretty decent space presence on there, and being able to put Luke onto these units on here just makes them that much more effective. These cheap units that are able to hit pretty early. you still have that great like surprise like shot that you can do with the Hotshot DL-44 blaster if you decide to put Luke on the ground instead. Same thing with Chewbacca. And yeah, overall, this is a pretty strong space presence that you can really put on for this particular deck. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
no Lukes.
Yeah.
I have like Poes in my like red Han decks, right? Because they're disgusting. And just being able to like be at 3 resources, and then this Han goes up to 4 to play that Poe. The other Han just plays it outright. Just spending 3 for like a 4 or 5 space unit at minimum is really strong. Even better when you can put him onto like a Falcon or a Hauler, or either of the Falcons, honestly. So shout out to Green Poe. I love Green Poe. He's so fairly costed at 4. It's really silly when he's at 3.
Yeah, he can be devastating. I like a deck. I don't think this is like super off any of the other decks we've seen for Han Green.
A little bit weird they're not main decking the home ones, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think I just would move the Tantive to the side and main deck home 1 and call it a day. That's probably the only big change I would make. Though I don't know. I really don't like only having 2 Han Solo. It's like, I guess that's just me, but...
Tanner, clearly the only thing wrong with this deck is that it's not running Dataval, right?
There you go, I guess. Then I would have plenty of room for everything I wanted.
Yeah, then you'd have everything you need.
Yeah. All right, the runner-up was a CAD blue list, which is a little bit more blue than what we've seen and has a couple of cards we have not seen played. I love it. I love the spice in this deck. This deck is hilarious. This has 2 McClunkies, 3 Bazines, 2 Cartel Spacers, 2 Cloud Riders, 3 Pike Sentinels, 2 of the... How do you say that guy's name, JJ?
Sedan, right? Sedan.
Yeah, Sedan. Yeah.
There you go.
You got it.
2 of the Zygerian Starhoppers, 2 Bobas, 3 of the Jumpmasters, 3 of the Outlaws, the Outer Rim Outlaws that have the shield. Those are pretty cool, actually. 3 Powers, 2 Relentless Pursuits, 3 Forloms, 3 Lom Pikes, 2 Takedowns, 3 Zuckus, 3 Emphy's Nest, which is the 6-cost Emphy's Nest. Non-hero,
non-hero one,
which we'll talk about him because I don't know what he actually even does.
I like that one actually.
Anything you ambush gets -3, -0.
There you go. Okay,
whatever you attack into.
Mm-hmm.
3 Cad Banes, 2 Dryden Voss, baby. That was always a staple in my Jabba deck. I love seeing it here. That's hilarious. 1 First Light as well. Like that was a staple in my Kira deck for a long time. Love it. And then 2 Snoke. The sideboard for this is 1 Fel, 3 Vigilances, 2 of the No Glory, No Guts, 2 of the Bounty Hunters crew, and 2 Avengers. This deck is wild. Like there's like the top, your top end is Cad Bane and Dryden Voss, basically. That's what your top end is. Whatever. Snoke, yeah. This is a crazy, like, this is obviously not a control deck, I guess, like in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah, it's not like a hard control. It's very, very tempo-y.
Yeah.
The Relentless Pursuits are very strong, especially because a lot of these are bounty hunters. Like the Outer Rim Outlaws are bounty hunters, right? So
Yep.
So 3/3 for 3 shielded. You can Relentless Pursuit, capture them.
Get a second shield.
Dryden,
Mm-hmm.
the Relentless Pursuit, Dryden, whatever you capture with Cad Bane, which is always really fun. This is like a deck I would play. I'd probably swap a little bit of some ratios around, but I like it. I think it's fun. I'd probably main deck the Avengers or No Glory just to have a little bit more. Yeah, face, I understand because you have like Forloms and Cloud Riders and Zuckus and stuff. I just don't know why you'd run 3.
I wouldn't run Emphy's at all. I don't think Emphy's fits in this deck. I would 100. I can't imagine running this deck without Avengers. Just personally, I don't understand it.
You can
And there's no
trigger
Rival's
campaign
Fall.
off Handfist. I get it. Yeah. I mean, we would change some things because we're control players. This is a little bit less. This is very tempo-y, not control-y.
Yeah.
I don't actually even mind the one-off first light, which is kind of weird for me to say. Mm-hmm. Mostly because you can just smuggle it out.
It's an underrated chip.
Yeah, I know you love it.
I love it.
Your Kira.
Yep. I don't have it in Kira currently, but maybe I should add it to my 30 just because I can, or my 60 because I can.
62 is the way to go.
I love First Light though. I ran too heavy when I topped in the second season or whatever, the second set. I 100% had 2 extra First Lights in there. And I played them, baby. Nobody knew what they did. They're like, "What are you? What? Oh, Snow can now swing for 10. How does that happen?" Like,
and like, I guess you actually have some shielded units too, like the Outer Rim Outlaws and Dryden, that you could, if you really needed to, like pull it out and just do the damage to the shields, which is kind of cool. But I like this. I would swap a little bit of things here and now, make it a little bit more softy control, but also, I mean, they got second at Chicago, so
yeah,
seems good.
All right, let's move on. We decided to cover one non-top cut deck because I've never seen this deck before, and it's basically almost an out-of-the-box deck. So there's a couple of changes, but Alex, what is Han Solo Lake Country?
So I've actually seen a Han Solo Lake Country deck floating around, and I'm all about it. This one's different than what I would do, but I love this deck. So yes, you have Never Tell Me the Odds Han Solo Lake Country, so it's not even like set 1. So you got triple Cartel Turncoat, double the Dagger Squadron Pilot, triple Greedo, triple R2D2 Pilot, double Republic Y-Wing, triple Wolfpack Escort, triple C-3PO, your only even cost card in this deck, but you see the top card of your deck, so man, you should really be able to call it with C-3PO. Triple Boshak, triple Yellow Falcon, triple 3-cost White Falcon, triple Sanctioner Shuttle, 1 off Shuttle Tiberium's Command and Conquer, sorry. 1 Tech, triple Never Tell Me the Odds, double Waylay, triple Han Pilot, triple Plo Koon, 1 Mandalorian Pilot, 1 Commandeer, 1 FS Nest, the hero, double Tantive 4, and 1 off Yellow Home 1 in the side. Double Confiscate, a single copy of Jan Communications, a 3rd copy of Waylay, a 2nd copy of Commandeer, a 2nd Mandalorian Pilot, a 2nd Enfys Nest, a 2nd Tantive 4, a 2nd Home 1, and a single 7-cost Han. I would mess with some of the... I've already messed with some of the ratios and plan on running this deck next week. But I enjoy it a lot. It just goes super wide and just like whatever, do whatever you want. It's an aggro deck. It's super cool.
Yeah, I've actually really been enjoying Han. I have not played the single yellow, and I guess I don't know if that extra health, 4 health, is like worth it. I've been playing Han Red, which is more of my style, but like it's the same thing. Like it could go super wide. It's super amazing. It's very weird seeing that 1-cost Dagger Pilot in there. That's definitely not something I've seen. Really? But I guess you don't have any red cards, right? Or green cards or blue cards or anything to like supplement with this. So like it makes sense. That's not a card you would normally need. But no, I've never played with it.
It's a 2-1 for 1 that also gives it +2/+1 for 1 if you put it as a pilot.
I guess. Again, don't have an issue. Like personally, I don't have an issue with it.
It's better than the 1/1 raid 1 guy.
There you go. That's very true. I do like this deck. I just like Han. Like I really like the newer Han. Like I really think that that's going to be something that we see a lot of going forward. A little sad there's I don't understand what that Tiberium shuttle is there for. Like I
mean, it gives out experience, right? Because on attack you discard a card. If it costs an odd, you can give an experience to another unit. So like you're pumping a unit for essentially free. I cut it from my version of this deck.
Okay.
But it's not bad. In specifically exactly this deck.
Yeah, and like the Never Tell Me the Odds, like is that like
I mean you're guaranteed at least 3 damage.
I guess that's true. I guess.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, you flip Kira. If I dump like one odd costing card from the 3 of your deck, Kira dies. Unless I hit my C3POs, but that's me. I'll hit all 3 of them at once.
That's true. I guess it makes sense. I mean,
but yeah, it's just out of hand damage, and it can kill things that are like, they drop a Concord Dawn Interceptor in your way. If you play Never Tell Me the Odds, you hit one odd cost card on them, and now it's dead. I like it.
It's very.
I don't know, I guess
it feels risky. That's
if
all.
I mean, it's at least 3 damage, usually. Worst comes to worst, I guess you can mill someone and yourself.
Fair enough. JJ, you were gonna say something?
No, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, this is just yet another iteration of Han that feels really strong, and I feel like you can really do a lot of things with this particular deck that your opponent just has to try to find the answer to, and it's also very space heavy. Where you can choose to play ground units if you need to with the different pilots on there, so you have a lot of versatility in that way. But like this just feels really, really great with Han. So yeah, I like this list a lot.
I like this list a lot too. I would change some things. I probably don't need to main deck the tech or the FS. Cut the shuttle Tiberium. Add a little bit more consistency. Probably main deck a Han or 2, the 7 cost ones. Mm-hmm. But it's really cool. Man, no one saw that coming, right?
No. I guarantee you people sat down and was like, okay, like this is going to be an easy win. And then he went all the way to the top. So, yeah, I don't know. The tech one, I don't know. I like the tech to some extent in it, but I 100% agree with like I would have to have a regular Han main deck in that personally. That's just me though. I would definitely want that. I don't know, like, is the Mando pilot getting you enough value as well? Because you have to play it as a pilot. You don't get to play it on the ground.
I mean, you can. It just costs 7.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an emergency. Well, I need to exhaust 2 ground units right now, kind of thing. But yeah, just giving one of your, because you don't you want pilots because you want to pump up. But you put a Mando on the Republic Y-wing, you do that turn 2, and it's a 4/4 unit now, 4/4 in space on turn 2.
You know what? That's very true.
That exhausted a space unit too, if you needed it. Because he's just up +3/+1 for 2, which is strong.
Man, that sounds good in my Vader deck, actually.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
If only it was health instead of attack, that'd be an incredible card for Vader.
Man,
but the attack's pretty nice too.
Yeah, I'll take a 4/4 Y-wing from Vader. Thank you.
And it exhausts in its arena.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, because actually you could play that instead of those Death Ray skirmishers and get the same exhaust failing for it. I don't know. I like that deck. I agree with you. I'm tempted to put that together. Maybe we should do a deck tech on that. That's maybe we should play some of the games.
Let me play it for a week first. See if I like it enough.
I like
it overperforms.
I do like that deck. I do think there is something to Han 4 personally. So
for sure.
And I think that we have so much other stuff out there, but I like it better than Sabine, but I just don't like playing Sabine. So there you go.
That's right.
Well, all right. I think that's enough for tonight. We've easily hit our quota for having conversations
Not
about
that we
PQs.
actually have a quota.
Yeah. I say I don't think there was a lot of other ones. I just don't know how many I want to go into. You've kind of seen what it is shaping up. I will tell you that personally right now I'm insanely excited about the meta, because I feel it's still super wide open, that even after the Django ban and the the DJ ban, we aren't seeing a specific deck that's always at the top. We are seeing a huge variety. And it's a little bit more rock, paper, scissors than we had before, which is probably not super amazing for tournaments, but is better for those of us that want to play a variety of things. I'm not the guy that plays the same deck over and over for a tournament. It's hard for me to want to play Vader next weekend just because I already played Vader, right? I don't know. Like if Vader was a guaranteed thing where I knew I would have a high probability of making top cut and getting into, getting my day one buy at Worlds, then okay, like that's a little bit different. But I don't feel that there's any deck that like is guaranteed. And the closest thing I think that we have really is that it is a little bit of the Sabine and maybe the Han Green. Those are like the two closest things we have, and none of those are guarantees. So I don't know. What do you guys think as we wrap up?
I mean, honestly, I'm at a point right now where the game is in a really fun spot, and I can't wait to see what the next iteration of like the new lists that are going to come out are how are they going to shape the meta. There's just so many. Like honestly, when we go through all these decks, it really excites me because there's so many that I'm like, yeah, I want to play that, and yeah, I want to play that. I want to try this out, or I want to sub stuff out, and it really keeps you engaged and just like wanting to play more of the game. So I'm just excited to see what's the next big thing that comes out.
Yeah, it's a little bit less fun because I can't be like, look at this wacky deck that I took into this meta that like counters a lot of the meta decks pretty hard. But also I super enjoyed playing a bunch of different decks and different leaders, a bunch of different people. So I'm all about this meta right now. We'll see. I just got to figure out what I got to play. That's the hard part.
Fair enough. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much. We'll be back next week with another amazing episode of Planning Phase Syndicate. We are going to also have a deck tech coming out this week for Ray Blue Shield Complex. So we have that coming out as well. So you'll see that probably around Thursday this week. If not, maybe a little bit sooner. With that being said, thank you all. Have a good night. And we'll see you on the flippity flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.